Hello, Mac. It's a pleasure to see you, and it's a pleasure to connect. And thank you for accepting to have this call with me. I know, we're all busy in this time of craziness, and in Hong Kong, and might be different than in Italy. But that's actually the reason why I'm trying to call. So, could you please introduce yourself, and then we might go into a couple of questions that I have for you.
Excellent. Well, thanks for having me. My name is Mac Ling. I live in Hong Kong, and I'm an executive coach. I've been coaching for the last 5 years, and I have my own business, Coaching Collective.
All right, that's very good. So Hong Kong has been quite on the news even before the COVID-19. So what is happening there? In response to this situation, this crisis, do you have a sense of? Are you in a lockdown? Sorry, a couple of questions, but please go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Hong Kong has been, we've gone through a lot over the last 18 months, from the democracy protests that we were experiencing earlier or late last year, all the way to now COVID-19, where we had some of the first cases come out in January. And now in April, today, April 8th, it feels pretty normal. Most people are wearing masks outside. My wife just took my son to the park for a walk. So we're not really in lockdown, but we did have another flare-up of cases. So a lot of the bars and restaurants are now closed. So you cannot gather in groups of 4 or more. So they've done some distancing things, but I would say for the most part, life continues on.
Is people accepting it? I mean, is there fear of something is like, what's the experience around? I mean, it seems like, things are kind of a little more restricted, but not too much, right?
Yes, I think when you think about humanity, like we have gone through the stages of grief, and sort of there's that shock, and then there's denial, and there's bargaining, and because we've already experienced so much over the last 18 months, there's quite a good amount of acceptance. You're like, well, there's uncertainty. Uh, we've dealt with this before, and we just need to keep moving on. So I feel like we're probably 3 to 6 months ahead of everybody else
Wow.
psychologically.
Wow, that's great. Now, you said about the businesses like restaurants and things closing. Do you think there's going to be an effect on the business side?
Oh, absolutely. So hotels, anything in the travel business, the F&B business has taken a very, very strong hit. Yeah, retail. I mean, anything retail has really struggled. So, it's and that's the challenge of living in such a metropolitan city. I mean, there's the highest number of restaurants per capita in any other city in the world. So, you're seeing shuttered buildings. You're seeing restaurants asking their landlords for free rent or rent subsidies. Um, but it's been tough. It's been very tough.
And probably that's going to be clear in time. What that means. As we evolve. Do you think this crisis is changing, because in Italy we have changed everything, like, from before to the after, it's going to be a different world. I mean, I know you guys are going through many more things, and that's very interesting to see how ready you are to face these type of issues. But so I'm just actually very impressed by the I was talking with Shanghai yesterday, and they also said, we're disciplined, we're going, and we'll see what's going to happen, and so the change of the world is not going to be as dramatic probably as we are living it on our side, but what's gonna change afterwards, you think?
What do I think is going to change? Well, I'm a believer that we will never go back to the way things were. I think that we will need to adapt into a new way of working, a new normal. Um, But in terms of how it moves forward, I think there's a lot of questions around how, I do the work of coaching, which has traditionally been done face to face. You can see with the rise of Zoom, everybody has moved onto online platforms, virtual workshops, virtual business. Um, but I sense that the it's interesting. And now I'm going to get a little philosophical because I'm from America, as you can tell from my accent, and we've seen a great amount of division being sowed by some of the leadership in terms of polarizing communities through the media. And it's interesting. So you created a philosophical shift in terms of where people don't feel as unified as a humanity. Um, and now this has actually started to create more reasons to feel unified, because now, before this, I would never have the opportunity to sit and talk to you, who, you're sitting in Italy, and you are interested in my experience. And so I think perhaps, maybe the blessing in disguise is that there is a newfound curiosity for people who don't live in the place that you live. There's a curiosity for, hey, how are you doing things? What can we learn from you? Which I feel like we have been in a place where each country has felt that, oh, we know how to do things the right
Yeah.
way or our way. And there's this knowledge sharing that I think is happening that's quite unique for our place and time, that I haven't seen so much of, especially in the business world, especially in this innovation space that I work in. Maybe in medicine and academia, but in the spaces that I work for profit business, there's not as much of this desire for unity, desire for learning.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's totally great. So thank you, man. I really appreciate your perspective because it sounds very advanced compared to where we are right now. Because we're just locked down in the house, looking at the TV, and they are kind of feeding us of what's going on even in our own neighborhood. So because we're not going out and we're not going to see anything, but that gives a lot of hope, and true. We wouldn't have had a chance to talk to each other if it wasn't due to these conditions. So I really agree with you. There's a lot of curiosity, and I believe even the desire to connect, because this what they call social distancing, which I don't agree with the full concept of it. Like physical distancing might be better, but it brings us to desire more to connect, and I believe that's going to be something that in the future will bring us hopefully a little more close, in spite of agendas that might want us divided. So, Mac, thank you
Absolutely.
very, very much for your contribution. I know, I robbed some of your time, well, I mean, maybe in time, like in a month or so, if you don't mind, I'm just going to be checking in again to see how things are rolling. So, thank you
Yeah.
again very much.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you.
Bye bye.